because I want to have another hat to wear. I want to hear, because this is the only occupation in the world where people have to go out and find trouble. And sometimes they need someone to talk to about it.
Amen, brother.
I'm that person. And I will leave my comments at that. What I have read, I will leave here. Amy, I'll give you a copy, and I'll leave it for anyone else that wants it here. There are a few of those.
Can I ask you
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. May I ask you a question,
Yes, ma'am.
Pastor Glass? What you just read, what do you call that again?
That is the canon of ethics from the International Conference of Police Chaplains. It is a worldwide organization of people doing what I do.
So our administration should have a copy of that as well?
It is there for them, should they be. If the council or the administration would like to talk with the area representative, Dan Schaefer, who's been doing this for 30-some years, and by the way, he's an Assembly of God man. So it's kind of interesting when you see Baptist and Assembly of God, but we get together on that point. He serves in 3 departments as a chaplain.
So Chief Janis has a copy of that as well?
Yes, he does.
Wow.
And I hold it to the highest of standards. And that's why I'm a member of this organization. They do the training, the basic training, everything from your confidentiality issues, which are strange in New Jersey, all the way through to going with an officer to make a death notification, because there is a good way and a bad way. You know, a good thing is a bad thing when it's not the best thing.
I'm asking these questions because it seems like you have an awesome program that's already set up, that's already in writing.
Can it be better? It can always, you know...
Anything and everything can be.
You can always have someone else, because, you know, here, just in case, here's a situation, the incident in which that baby was burned. I was not here. I was not here. You know, I heard about it on the phone. I would love to have had someone else to be able to say, because there's no way I could get back. Can I call someone to come in? There were other times when there was one incident, if you'll remember, over here, I believe it was in the Country Lakes area, where there was a fire in one of the homes where a child was.
Oh, yeah.
The fire chaplain was not available. I got a call to be able to go and to talk to that family. So, any other questions? I'm more than happy to answer private, public. I'm in the phone book.
I just want to thank you for your
Thank
service.
you, ma'am.
There's only one thing you said I disagreed with, and that's volunteering for the government that you did vote for. Because I have been, one of the things I got involved with, I volunteered a lot for the government I did not vote for, because I wanted to see that my community, you know, was better, and I was honored that they would appoint me to things such as the Veterans Memorial and that. So, yeah, I agree. Volunteer for the government you did vote for, but there should also be people who volunteer for the government out of the goodness of their heart, wanting the best in their community. And we know you've done that, Reverend Glass. Thank you so much.
Allow me to clarify that. The Bible says very simply that it is God who establishes. My vote ultimately is to express my God-given right to be able to do that.
Right.
Once that's in place, I may have voted for you, I may have not voted for you. If you got in and I didn't vote for you, guess what? You're on my prayers every day.
That's
because I am responsible to God to obey this government and to do the best that I can for it. And this is one of my ways of expressing it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs.
Wow.
Tam.
Wow.
I'd like to ask the solicitor a question. At the last meeting 2 weeks ago, I asked Mr. Baer, how come, if this was an appointment by ordinance and it's a position to be filled, how come it wasn't a holdover? And he said he would look into it.
Well, I don't know whether he looked into it or not, and I have obviously not looked into it, so I don't know the answer to that. I mean, typically, many positions have a term, and when the term ends, the position is over. But I don't particularly know about this.
Now, a follow-up question to that is, if the previous ordinance said the mayor shall appoint, and he didn't appoint, isn't the mayor wrong in his position as mayor that he didn't follow through?
I can't answer that one either. I don't even know what the previous ordinance says.
We don't have a copy of it available?
It's the same thing without S.
Right. My understanding is it's changing from chaplain to chaplains. I haven't seen the ordinance, but that's my understanding of what's getting changed.
Okay.
But generally, appointments are discretionary, not mandatory, unless there's a legal requirement that there be that position. I don't know that there's a legal requirement that there be a police chaplain position, so I would imagine it's a discretionary, not a mandatory appointment.
Okay. On this one that's pending tonight, what if may was changed to shall? Would that make a big difference?
The ordinance about the
Appointment.
multiple chaplains?
Yes.
Well, I don't think it could, I don't know that it could be changed to shall, because there's, how shall appoint how many chaplains? I mean, one chaplain, I guess theoretically could be shall because it's one chaplain, but multiple chaplains, how could you then enforce that?
Are we going back to the May thing? May and shall? Is that what you asked about changing
What
it
is
to
that?
shall? The code, in the state code, it says may. It
Says
says
may in
may.
the state
Yes,
code.
I looked-
That's
I
what
looked
the
it up.
ordinance, I mean, that's what the statute that talks about this says, it says may also. So I haven't studied your ordinance, because I know it changes from chaplain to chaplains, but I haven't studied your ordinance, but I know that the statute it comes from says may.
There's something else too. In B here, the last line, unless sooner terminated with or without cause by the mayor. Could that be crossed out also? Without cause? Because I think it's a reflection on who was chaplain at the time if they're terminated without cause.
Well, normally appointments, unless someone has a tenured position where they are then protected and only can be removed for cause, normally appointments you could remove for any purpose because it's a discretionary thing in the first place. So typically, I mean, cause is like, for instance, tax collector or clerk. They're tenured positions. Once they're in those positions, once they're protected, they have certain rights. They can only be removed for cause. Discretionary appointments typically would not have that for cause protection because, again, it's discretionary whether the appointment happens at all, and it's discretionary about who the appointee is. So typically it would not have a for cause only requirement because, again, that's beyond what the legal requirements are. The legal requirements are that unless you've got some sort of union protection or statutory protection where you can only be removed for cause, normally you can be removed for any purpose, any reason.
Sounds more political if you leave it in.
Could be.
Thank you.
My name's Christine White. I live in Ronto Village.
Purple is the color of royalty in the Bible.
Yes, it is. Favorite color. I just have one question for the mayor. How is it better for this township, our officers, to not have someone held over that's been here for 5 years? How is that better for the township than to not have anyone at all? How is that better?
I don't know that it's worse or better, and it's not a matter of whether it's worse or better. It's a matter of evaluating the program and what I believe it should reflect, and that's what this ordinance is asking.
Right, but you have the power to hold him over. Because you said last year you didn't
I
appoint
only
him.
have authority, I don't have power.
Well, you do, because you have power to appoint
It's not
anyone.
power, it's authority.
Okay, it's authority. You have the authority to appoint him. You said you did not appoint him last year yourself, right? Somehow it got passed down the line.
Well,
2013.
if I tell the
Okay,
business
finish.
administrator to go ahead with it, then
So then
yes,
you've appointed him.
technically I have.
Okay, so you did appoint him last year. Right. And the year before?
As I explained, if I told the business...
So you have the authority to hold him over, and instead you would like, you don't care that the township or the officers have him where he's clearly been needed in the past and has served this township well. You think it's better not to have anyone?
I don't believe that the officers are without guidance by any of our members of the ministry in this community, and I don't believe that Mr. Glass would turn his back, and I know he wouldn't. I
But
feel
that's
very
not the
confident
question.
if they were to need him at this particular time.
But that's not the question. The question is, how is it better that he's not held over?
And I answered
To
that.
help
I
the
told you I
officers.
don't know that it's better or worse. That's not the point here.
Well, I think you should really look in your heart as to what's right, and it's not right. That's my point.
Ms. Phillips?
America Phillips. I had this question in reference to the chaplain. I understand that right now it's April 15. In April 1st, when I came to the meeting, that's when they brought it up about the chaplain. And according to your ordinance or the paper you got in here, by December 31st, you got to assign a new chaplain. And this is April 15. How did you guys find that out by April 1st that you didn't have no chaplain in the township? Did anybody notify Pastor Glass that he no longer was needed? How did you guys find that out? That? My question, we got the council here in front, we got the mayor next.
We
To
found
me-
out. We
Okay.
found out when Pastor Glass told us at
Oh.
the last meeting. Correct?
Well, you know
But
what it
nobody
went-
knew before then.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. I'm going to make my
That's how I
comment.
found out. I don't
Yes,
know about the rest.
okay, thank you, Mrs. Jackson. The point I'm going to make right here, right now, for all of you, and the men over here, seemed to me that he looked in every single lightest thing in this township to penalize the officer, to penalize the community. But what happened? Today is April. The man's supposed to be reinstated December 31st, and January 1st supposed to be on the job. Something wrong with this picture. I hope that this man in here and the other man, the empty seat is there, he look into, we got a lawyer in here as a taxpayer and pay my taxes, and he getting his pay. And all you, everybody of you, the council, don't let this man step on you. You are individual. I'm individual. I can make my choice. We elect you. The community elect you. And you tell me even the worst thing you can do to the police department today, left him without a pastor? That is said. I will come back. Thank you.
Ms. Phillips, just because you said it, I don't think anyone on council is saying that they don't support a chaplain, chaplains, or Reverend Glass.
Yes,
Dave has not appointed Reverend Glass for his reason. That has nothing to do with council. You're listening to everyone give comments saying that they're, well, may or may not support the ordinance. And Reverend Glass is even saying that he supports the verbiage, the adding of the S. We have nothing to do with him not being appointed to date.
Okay. Then my question is going to be, you got elected, you got elected, you got elected, you got elected, and you got elected. What do we need you guys for then? What the hell this man is going to do in there? He's going to do what he want to do anyway. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Prickett.
Rick Prickett again. I hear it over and over again what the council can't do. Council can't do it. The mayor knows what he can do. He has the advice of attorneys, and he has the power according to the code here, executive power. Council has council power. When are you going to exert your power? The way you exert your power in this instance, no, you can't force a chaplain, but you can pass a resolution explaining why you support a chaplain. Use that mechanism. Write out a reason to say we need a chaplain in this town. Give all the whereases, and so and get it on the record so everybody knows how you feel about it and the reasons why you feel that way, other than just sitting up there. Do something. Take a vote. I don't know whether you all feel you want a chaplain or not. The only way the public knows is by doing a resolution where you all vote for it and you put your sentiments in a document. So use your power. Empower yourselves.
Council, is there any discussion? Any further discussion?
There's someone else raising their
Oh,
hand back.
I'm sorry.
Michael Trupwitz, Sunbury. Usually not up here for this type of reason, but honestly, getting late. I gotta be up in 4 hours. My question is, everybody's talking about the whole situation and things, but Mayor Dave's working on things. Is there a date that's been picked where Dave has to make a decision? I have not heard a date. You guys can sit. We're going to be sitting here for 2 months more. Mayor Dave's going to be doing what he has to do. The right way or the wrong way, in everybody's perception, doesn't matter. But there's no date that's been nailed down.
Well, Dave, you said you're waiting, you're supposed to get with Chief Janis, he's supposed to give you information tomorrow. Is that to help for you to make your decision to reinstate Pastor Glass? Or him getting back to you tomorrow or something different?
Well, first, if we'd have just adopted this an hour ago when we started, we'd be an hour closer to where you're asking me to be. But that's for me to understand what the police department has in place with this program. Again, as I said, I'm sending out letters to all the members of the ministerium in the community so that we can get interest from others, and we'll, evaluate where we're going after that. But until I get information,
We can't give him a date because he doesn't have to follow it anyhow.
So until then, who is the chaplain? I'm asking. Until then, who is serving as chaplain?
there is no chaplain appointed at this time.
Letha, your question, I'm waiting for an answer as well from your question, that what is the meeting about tomorrow? To go over, you said to go over whatever they're supposed to go over, and I don't make the decisions on what Chaplain Glass stood up here and read today, because I tell you can't get no better than that. That's just my theory. But Letha, it seems like your question was not answered. What are they meeting for tomorrow?
Is there a point where you can set dates for tomorrow's meeting? Has to be, all the information has to be dispersed by next Friday, and then little steps, and at least by the final step in 1 month or a month and a half. I'm just handling it from a business.
So we're clear, there's no meeting established for tomorrow. I don't know where that came from, but
right.
that's not anything that was said here tonight. I've requested information from the chief, and he was instructed to have that information by tomorrow. So that's where we're at.
Okay. Then my apologies. I thought you said that you guys were meeting tomorrow. So he's just giving you information tomorrow in regards to the chaplaincy, I don't want to say rules, but help me, program, what the program is.
Well, the only thing I will say is in the mayor's defense is that, you know, just because there was somebody there, and if it actually wasn't followed properly, it's almost like somebody driving without a driver's license and suddenly realizing, you know, I don't have a license. It's got to be fixed. You can't, so. All right, well, see you guys at midnight.
Mike, are you leaving?
No.
Oh, okay.
Council, is there any discussion?
Well, I think what we're hearing is that what we all agree, all are on the same page, at least I think we are, is that we are looking to have a chaplain appointed from now, at this point, until the mayor can get the program information that he's needed. So I guess the big question is that we've been asking all evening is, will Pastor Glass, or is it possible for Pastor Glass to be reinstated now, maybe contingent upon you finding out the program, the details of the program? I don't know, that's somebody help me out.
That makes sense.
Is that a possibility?
I'm not making any appointments until I know where we're going forward here with the program and the ordinance and everything else in place here that
All
we've
right.
discussed.
So with that being said, I don't think we're gonna, what do you guys wanna do?
I know, I can't support the ordinance. If our mayor doesn't understand what the program is, why do we need a chaplain then at all, I guess, if we did without him for so long? And, you know, we've had one for 5 years and the mayor hasn't understood what's been going on there. I can't support the ordinance. I could have if Reverend Glass had been left alone or reappointed or whatever, but the rhetoric, I don't think anybody in this room but one person believes the rhetoric that's gone on here tonight.
Well,
So-
I think the ordinance, as far as in the beginning, changing it from a single chaplain to chaplains should still stand. We definitely should have more than one chaplain. I think our main, what I'm hearing and from the council.
I don't disagree with that.
Right, but I'm
at
saying,
all.
I think what we're saying is that
Right now, and I understand what you, Councilwoman, I do, I hear you and I
my
feel you.
apologies, it is late, it's here, but
No.
it's not coming out here.
I understand, I do, and I feel you, and our concern right now is we have no one.
Right.
I believe someone just said out here earlier, held over or something. How come he couldn't be held over until, like my friend right here, Ms. Waters, always talk about how can we work together until we get something together and put that together. But I feel you, what do we do now? Letters go out? When do the letters go out? When do we wait for there's just a lot of things that are going on, and God forbid, something happens like two months ago down on Scrapetown Road or Country Lakes or whatever. God forbid that should happen, and
Well, you're right, God forbid it happens. Thank God Pastor Glass has
Yeah,
said it publicly, and we all
and I appreciate that. Thank
he
you.
will go
Yeah,
out
I
regardless.
appreciate it. Yeah.
But we
And-
have to do what the matter at hand here.
Sure.
I just need, sorry. The mayor is absolutely correct. Were an officer to come over to my home and request something, I would certainly, in all regard. But I cannot, I would not, nor would I encourage or counsel any other clergy to go out on site for an incident for two reasons. Number one, should that individual who has not been appointed or sworn be injured, there is no insurance provision, and should they for some reason lose their life, again without being appointed or sworn, there is no relief to their family through the Father Judd Act. So they would be going at their own risk for either injury and or death. And so, for the sake of my family, I would not. I don't know whether to be encouraged, and I would encourage, and if someone else, well then I'll go. I said I would encourage you not to for the same reasons. Those things were put in place to protect those that do what I do, should either of those issues happen. And it has happened before. You have Father Judd, because a priest was giving last rites there at 9/11 and lost his life. That's why it's there.
Well, can I ask you a question? Don't move right there,
No, ma'am.
Pastor Glass. Dave, can I ask you a question, please? What if a petition was started asking if we would order the mayor to appoint or set a pastor ASAP until all of this stuff that's on tape here tonight is done? I don't know. After hearing what you just said just now, I don't want you going out there and putting things, putting your family in jeopardy as well.
I think Pastor Glass said if a police officer
If an officer came over to my house or called me up and said, would you come, can I talk with you? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But where I had to
If
get
you had to go out,
I
yeah.
had to get a call from the station today.
Right.
From someone to say, hey, we
That's what I'm talking
really
about.
need you out here.
Right.
Not without putting myself in, because I would have no recourse for either of those two things to happen.
Sure.
Nor would any other clergy.
Right, I understand
And
that.
that's one of the reasons when we were talking before about if there was no appointment and the appointment ran out, could the pastor continue serving? I mean, those are some of the liability issues that are out there.
Well, I understand that. I mean, he made that perfectly clear at the last meeting.
Joe.
To answer your question, Councilwoman Skull, I mean, could citizens prepare a petition and give it to the mayor?
That was Mrs. Stinney for the record.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, honey.
It's getting late.
It's
too.
getting late. It's getting late.
No, not in the least.
Okay, go ahead.
Just getting late, that's all. So could citizens give a petition? Certainly they could. They could always give a petition about anything. Could the council pass a resolution asking the mayor to consider something? Sure it could.
You said key word. You said to consider something.
Right. It's ultimately the mayor's power.
Okay.
You can't order or direct him to do it,
Right.
but
Right.
you could ask or urge him to do it if that's what you chose to do. So there are options, but we still got the issue also where the ordinance is there. The ordinance says chaplain, and the question is,
Right.
does the council want to vote to make it chaplains?
Right.
Does it want to defer and just hold over on it? Does it want to change the ordinance, in which case the thing will start over? Plus, you got the issue that whatever the changes are they even legal or not? So you got that issue. But the issue you're talking about is an appointment issue, and that issue...
I want to make it perfectly clear. I would be more than glad to say chaplains. As I said at the last meeting,
Can we please quiet
I
down?
wholeheartedly
Please.
agree
Mr.
with
Petronas.
having...
Ms. Stinney, please.
I'm sorry,
Mr.
what is it?
Mr. Petronas.
Rick.
I wholeheartedly agree with bringing in more chaplains. I mean, you supported that when you came to
Absolutely.
the last meeting.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's the issue right now. The issue is, again, Ms. Waters, I'm sorry I'm picking on you tonight. It says to work together. Let's work together until we can get someone appointed and maybe say to you or hey, listen, if you pass this tonight, can we work this out and come back and revisit this, and then we get our chaplains? But I'm not going to stand up here and I'm not going to support that. I'm not taking it out on you.
No.
I'm not.
I serve at the pleasure of... I have served in this position at the pleasure of the mayor.
Am I supposed to believe everything I hear? Just like the last time, I didn't vote for this. I came in here right from work. And I said I wasn't going to vote for it because of a call that I just received. And my friend back here, he said you received a call, Mr. Thompson. One call and that makes you say no? Absolutely, until it's checked into. So I just want to make sure, that we get what we're supposed to be getting. I believe it's not this is not an easy job. I believe it isn't.
Can I have one of the papers?
I'm sorry.
Oh, yes,
Go
ma'am.
ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, this one here.
It might help. I don't know.
Thank you.
If all of council made it clear how they felt, instead of it just being Sherry is being vocal or Diane's being vocal, maybe it would make a difference to Dave if all five of us looked at him and said, look, we really want this stuff with the police department to stop, and one good thing that Dave could do to put an olive branch out there would be to instate and appoint Reverend Glass.
But I think everyone on council would like Reverend Glass to be appointed.
Well, we see the answer we're getting.
Well,
Mr. President, all we're talking about here is what the mayor's responsibilities are and what the mayor should do, and that's not what is in front of you. You have legislation in front of you. That's all you've been asked to do tonight, not decide what the mayor is and tell the mayor what to do. So regardless of what you may think, that's what you need to do, and it's after 10 o'clock, and I have no mayor's comments for my comment portion. I'm going home.
Okay.
Oh, Lord. What happened to Community Day? Guess we're not going to get our answers from administration.
Mr. Glass, do you have further comments?
No, sir, I was just asked to stay by Councilwoman Stinney. I was going to ask if I could be excused.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm just stunned, okay.
Well,
Can I say something, Councilman
Sure.
Jason Allen? I just want to say, as we were saying, as I mentioned last time in our meeting, I'm one that I advocate for more chaplains to come in. This is a large growing community, and definitely to work with, and I even said it in my last, Reverend Glass has done an awesome job all these years, and as a matter of fact, he could help with others coming on. To me, I think it's a great program. If it's going to be established, we have a large ministerium. I've said that before as well. Open it to whoever's interested. Maybe there's people out there that would like an interest. But yes, we need to have someone reinstated, and I agree with the council on that. So on that behalf, if there's nothing else, and my son has arrived home from the hospital, and I would like to go home and spend some time with him as well.
Well, I personally support the ordinance, but I support that also with putting my support behind Reverend Glass. I also like the language that Mr. Tompkins provided today. In my personal opinion, we should move forward with the ordinance and have the solicitor's firm look to see if adding language like this is legal. And with that, I'd entertain a motion. If there is no motion, then we'll leave it as is.
And the motion you want to entertain is a motion to adopt the ordinance?
The ordinance.
I would like to make a motion to table it. That's what I would like to make.
Is there a second for that motion?
Is there a second for the motion?
Second.
Automatically gets tabled?
No, they vote. If it's 3-2 not to table it, then
It doesn't get
it
tabled.
doesn't get tabled.
Okay.
We tabling it
A motion to table it.
There's a motion to table the ordinance, which basically
just
means
because of the
defer.
language?
Yeah, until we get the answers back. Just until
No,
we get-
because
No,
if we
it
don't
can't be because
table
of
it, you're
language.
sending, and you vote for it, you're just giving the mayor, again, whatever he wants.
I don't know how that
And he
gets
thumbs
him whatever
his
he
nose at
says.
us again, and the public again,
But we all
Well-
agree that we should have,
and what good
on
does
the
it do?
ordinance, no, on the ordinance that was brought forth, we all
Right.
agree that we should have multiple chaplains. Am I
That's
correct?
right.
Well,
Not
we
only
agree.
do we agree,
Okay.
we just heard the chaplain with no S agree with an S being added to it.
Right.
So
I know you're going to vote to approve it, but I'm sorry, you continue to give him what he wants.
How are we
And the
giving him what he
people
wants?
stand, because then he has the authority to approve his chaplains.
Well, Sherry, what I want to, I'm going with Letha,
I don't agree.
and I asked to get a motion to table it only because we did not get a definitive answer from the mayor. He told us nothing tonight.
We got a very definitive answer.
He told us nothing. You know, what is his plans? And I don't know how I'm mixed up or whoever mixed up about the meeting, but we were just trying to get some type of consensus of when is this going to happen? Letters have to go out. And I understand what you're saying, you know, Norma, there should be a lot of people, but
That was my
you know,
concern and
I'm going to tell you what, I've decided what the problem was tonight. Reverend Glass had police officers at his house eating Thanksgiving dinner. And that's just offensive. And we can't have that type of behavior in our town. I'm sorry.
As council, we have to, I understand the emotions are high, I understand what the people are saying, I hear what we're saying, but we can't, we can't,
All right,
we can't get like that.
so there's a
We have
motion.
to be clear-headed.
Ms. Stinney,
I'm very clear.
Yes, sir.
you had a motion.
I just asked for a motion to table.
Right.
Okay, I don't think nothing's gonna hurt or harm or anything. I mean, till we get those answers back.
With Lisa, so does
I
that
do
mean you're
with the-
withdrawing your
I do with the multiple,
I do too. We all agree with that.
okay, that's all I'm saying. And she's sitting here saying tonight that she agrees exactly what I'm saying here. We should not move forward until we get those questions answered.
No, that's
I mean,
not
she
what
tried,
Lisa said.
well, I'm sorry, I misunderstood
I
that.
think, I don't mean to speak for you, Lisa, but I don't think that's what...
She couldn't get any questions answered.
No, I did not get any questions answered definitively. I'm just saying that the ordinance 7/2015, the way I understand it, is just for us to approve if we're gonna have not one chaplain, but multiple chaplains.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
what
correct.
this ordinance is reading tonight.
Okay,
I
then,
agree that we do need to have a chaplain right now, but the ordinance that is before us is just saying we're going from one chaplain to multiple chaplains.
well, I understand this, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't believe a doggone thing that the mayor says, because nothing is promising in anything that he says. I'm a witness to it, from the dogs that we swear together to run with, and I'm a witness to what's happening here with the police officers. Now, I know what's gonna happen. Pastor Glass, if you come back on, God bless you. I know what's going to happen if but I am not going to support this ordinance up in here tonight with questions like I don't know what questions from the public. I refuse to answer, to say, yes, I support this. That's why I asked out of courtesy. A table is courtesy.
And you know what? It's not debatable, so we should have just had a vote.
Well, they could say no.
Yes.
It's up to them.
Roll call.
So roll call on a motion to table the ordinance for tonight.
Mrs. Stinney?
Yes, table.
Mrs. Skull?
Yes.
Mrs. Jackson?
No.
Mrs. Trueblood?
No. Oh, my
Mr.
God.
No.
Well, you knew that was happening.
You know what, I take, I'm
taking this offense to now.
members.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Because
Because
you know
your husband right in.
No.
God.
The only reason that this ordinance was coming just to help others open the doors for many others. It doesn't mean that it's removing people. It wasn't meant for that.
Yeah, wait till it happens next year.
Believe that to
The problem is that we all agree that Pastor Glass should be.
Yes.
I said Dave should
we're
appoint
gonna-
somebody.
yes, he should
But that's
appoint
not
him.
what the ordinance we
Counsel,
talked about tonight.
if-
Everyone agrees that, yes, we want multiple things. I don't understand the puppet, I don't understand animosity and anger amongst each other. We're looking at the ordinance. I agree with you.
Council President, the ordinance has been passed. Can we move on for the
ordinance has been on the
thing?
table. See, this is what, when everybody talks, this is what happens.
Motion to adopt, so we can
The motion did not pass for it to be tabled. So now, is there a motion for ordinance number 7-2015 to be adopted?
I make the motion for it. I don't have the paper in front of me. 2015 to be adopted.
7-2015.
7-2015 to be adopted. Thank you.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Amy, please poll the council.
Mrs. Jackson?
Yes.
Mrs. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mrs. Stinney?
Absolutely not.
Mrs. Skull?
No.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
And it's not because I don't want multiple pastors.
And I say yes, and putting my support behind Reverend Glass as being a member of the chaplains.
Yeah, watch.
Chaplains.
Okay.
Could we have a brief 5-minute break?
Please.
Sure. Ms. Scholes, discussion of the overtime reports for the police department. Some of this was already discussed earlier in the meeting.
No, I don't think we got January's total, February's total, March's total. Did we get? I didn't have a calculator.
The total for all three is what we got.
Yeah. Quarter.
Okay, I can only hear one person because the tape is on. Okay, what is the amount?
We got the total for March and the total for the year.
January, February, March.
That's for the year so far. March is the only month listed separately. And he gave it to us for 2014 and 2015.
Okay, I got it.
So when I'm looking at this, I see the difference between a 12-hour day and an 8-hour day. So I don't think the community is way off when they're talking about the cost of the overtime. If it's March and we've spent $50,000 already.
Is this the report that's going to reflect what we asked for?
No, of course not.
This is what you asked for?
This is what we asked for to have on the agenda tonight.
Oh, just for this discussion? No, I'm talking about the report that...
The investigation.
The
stuff, this is
investigation.
different.
Oh,
Well,
okay. Oh, Lord. Okay.
And I'm sorry, but there's no reason we should not have had the reports back that we asked for as council. I think administration is dragging their feet. Apparently, when I heard the police department wasn't even given, the police chief wasn't given what he was supposed to have, his part, until recently. So we're sitting here wondering where the reports are. And now we're told they're going to Andy. There are the reports that are done, so they can retract anything that we're not allowed to know. I know we asked for anything we weren't allowed to know. But it's again another stop in trying to stop us from getting to the bottom of anything.
Is there any more discussion on the overtime reports?
No, I think it's pretty obvious that we're going to be putting more money in that line item.
I would like to agree with that for the record. That's what's going to happen.
Moving on to the bill list, Ms. Stinney, you requested to pull Stewart versus Pemberton Township in the amount of $5,200.
Yes, Council President, it states here $5,277.47. I would like to know how much we have spent on this Stewart versus Pemberton Township. How much do we have budgeted for this? And that's it, those two items.
And I'm assuming you wouldn't happen to know that.
Well, it's under legal, so I'm sure he would know.
I'm talking about off the top of his head.
In terms of budget, I don't know that there's any budget on a case-by-case basis. I think there's a legal budget that Pemberton Township has, which goes to all legal matters. I don't think there's a particular budget for any particular case. With regard to what the borough has spent already, I would have to check with my office. I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay, I would like to know how much have we spent thus far in this litigation? And how much do you anticipate?
We can give you that information.
Okay, I would like to have that. Thank you very much. Because I recall back there a while back, and I'll just say this so I can be on the record for that, when we were trying to negotiate with the train station. And the residents came to us quite often and said, stop spending money, stop spending money. We had gotten up to $17,000, and it was under the recommendation of the attorney firm that we have now that we should go ahead, drop the, and make some type of agreement so that they could negotiate. Well, I was ready to do anything that I could for the residents of this township as they were crying and pleading, you know, how much more money is it going to cost us? So that's the reason I would like to know this Stewart versus Pemberton Township, how much money that's going to be budgeted for.
Understood.
Okay.
Is there a motion to approve?
And then with that information coming back to me, how long do you think that'll be? Because I know when I was on the school board, we would say, you got a couple weeks to get it done. How long do you think it'll be done?
Well, I certainly think it'll be done in a couple of weeks.
Okay, thanks. That's fine. That's good enough. So I'll make the motion to approve that bill. Bill number 1500915, sorry, for the amount of 5277.47.
Is there a second?
Second.
Amy, please poll the council.
Mrs. Stinney?
Yes.
Mrs. Skull?
Yes.
Mrs. Jackson?
Yes.
Mrs. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Stenny, you also requested to pull EMS litigation in the amount of $3,190.20.
Yes, maybe Dave can answer this question. I thought that litigation was done.
I think that's what we were told.
I think that there was a agreement negotiated with Pemberton First Aid to buy their property. They were one of the ones in the litigation. They had defaulted, and I think that that was put before council, and there was an approval to buy their property. I think that bill relates to that. But I believe the rest of the litigation is still pending. I don't think it's done. But I believe that particular bill relates to that Pemberton First Aid acquisition, which...
Yeah, we okayed that last week.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so we're not sure which EMS litigation it is, but I would like to know the total cost thus far, if they're talking about the one in Browns Mills or just where they're talking about. I would like to know that. And then I would like to know, do we have money in the budget for this ongoing litigation? Or is $3,190.20 the final payment to the legal fee?
Okay, we can report back on those things.
Okay, with that, I would like to go ahead and approve that under the account number 15-00917 to Glick Warwick EMS litigation in the amount of $3,190.20. And you'll have an answer back to me within, I guess, a couple weeks.
Right, that same time period.
Okay, appreciate it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Amy, please poll the council.
Mrs. Stinney?
Yes.
Mrs. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mrs. Skull?
Yes.
Mrs. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Solicitor's report.
I have no report tonight, thank you.
Mayor and Business Administrator's report.
The mayor laughed.
I know it's a joke.
Oh.
General public comments. I'm starting with...
Wait a minute, I have a question. Maybe Amy will know. What happened to Community Day? I'm hearing we're not having it.
That's correct.
What?
Same thing. I don't know why.
We don't have a community anymore, somebody said?
I'm not aware of exactly why it was canceled.
Community Day?
The community day is canceled?
Well, yeah, but it's the township.
Oh, no, who's gonna come?
Okay, I'm
Katya
sorry.
Brown of Sunbury. I've never done this before, so...
Please state your name, write your name, and make your comment.
Okay. Katya Brown. Okay. I come here tonight as a voice for the children of Sunbury. I've lived there for about 4 years. I have 2 children, and one of my children has autism, ADHD, and anxiety. And what I'm requesting tonight from all of you is to possibly put speed bumps in Sunbury. I live on Lemon, the very back road, and the gangs out there are getting worse, as you might know, and they don't have any respect for the residents or the children. And there's a lot of children out there that like to play outside, and they will literally do like 65 down the road flying past, and the kids will be outside playing, and they don't care. They'll curse you out, and you know the cops can only do so much. You know, you can call them, and by the time they get there, they're already gone. So I think a way to avoid this problem, this continuous problem, would be by just simply putting speed bumps in Sunbury. I don't know how much it's going to cost after hearing everything tonight. I don't know if you can do it, but I think that the lives of the children are pretty priceless. So that's really all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Council President, before she leaves, maybe we can, I have a suggestion. Perhaps we can get this on the agenda, get some questions answered from our engineers. We have engineers and they are really great. We pay them a lot of money. They're really good. And so maybe perhaps we can get some answers from them and see if it would be permitted to, get those speed bumps in that area.
That would make the children feel a lot more safe.
I bet it would. I
Yes.
bet it would. So can we do that, Council President?
Sure.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you.
And somehow, please make sure that the message gets over to the police department as well.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
You too.
Mr. Tam, I have the person behind you, and then you.
Mike Trupwitz, 1 by 1 with Sunbury Village. I can actually answer that question, sort of.
She left already.
Oh,
She left me?
Yeah.
Oh, fine.
I'd like to hear it.
Fast.
Yeah, no kidding. What's going all the time?
I'm waiting for 4 hours.
My beard grew when I was waiting.
Come on, Mike.
I actually I know we've all brought it up before, the speed bumps, speed humps, and Dave said it's like mayor said basically you can't do it. I've had personal meetings with him, and there's a total process. The Transportation Authority has to come in and do all stuff. However, it's funny that you brought it up, is that 2 weeks ago I actually contacted a company that makes speed bumps. However, there's speed humps and speed bumps. Speed humps are allowed. Speed bumps are a different story.
Right.
And I also looked into the fact that there's removable speed humps.
Right.
Mini speed humps, big speed humps. So I contacted the company, the speed humps. I basically have to get back to them with the size of the streets, and I'm not even caring what anybody else says. The way I work is I come up with information, come with facts, and then we can actually legitimately do it. So the company I am in contact with, and Saturday I was going to measure the street because we have the next comment I'm going to make. Garden State Highway Products, woman Laura Rodriguez, is basically they have these removable speed humps. You can put them in. There's all different sizes, miniature ones, and they'll basically say slow the cars down about 5 to 12 miles per hour, which is a big difference between 60. And we know the speed limit is 25. I was going to get back to her with the amount of speed humps I think is necessary. It's probably not that many. It's probably 6 or 7 total in the whole neighborhood because the streets have stop signs. The miniature speed humps, they're rubberized, I believe, and you can just screw them in and then unscrew them at the end of the year. My own concern with that, and I thought about was, well, for those little thugs taking the stuff out and things like that. But that goes on with other things down in the future with cameras and stuff. But
That's right.
But let's start somewhere, and the first one that gets stolen, we'll see what the deal is. So, but I am actually working on something like that, and come Saturday, I'm going to get the size of the street, send it to her, and I'll have a quote. Whether it matters to anybody in terms of legal technicalities of my quote matters, we'll see, but at least we know.
Something can be done. Something.
Yes. And then actually, then you start the process of what you just mentioned about legislature, or whatever it is.
Good.
All right, so with that being said, that's done. I've been asking for it for a long time, wanting it for a long time, and I know, like I said, there's some other towns that need it. So, and maybe we can roll it off to other towns, and both pricing's a lot better. So.
Council President, those are our roads, right?
Yes.
Okay. So township roads, all of them in Sunbury Township roads.
Yeah, so I don't see why not. It's probably, I think the guys are real quick to put it in. My next thing is, actually I came up here because, just to use my update. We had the Easter egg hunt on Saturday the 4th. Probably about 60 or 75 kids there the day.
Nice.
It was a good turnout.
It's nice.
Mr. Henry Gilliard's been doing it for quite a while, and this is my first year. This is actually the first year 1 by 1 officially being in and helping. So it was great. I mean, there were people from outside of Sunbury, which is nice. It's not just restricted to Sunbury. But there was like 30 dozen eggs given out, and kids had a fun time. Nice. It was good. It actually was real nice. I wasn't surprised, but I was sort of surprised, if you know what I mean. The next thing is also, we have the Sunbury Cleanup Day coming up on April 24th. I'd mentioned a month ago when I was here, 8:30 to 1, basically, and that we're still looking for people to participate. We may have Target stores coming in. I left mine at home, that's no problem.
You can have mine.
Okay. So hopefully it's a big turnout. We are looking for that mini grant of $150 or whatever it is, $200, depends how many miles we walk and all that stuff. But on that note also, I also wanted to say that the code enforcement, Nancy, she's actually been doing her job, which I didn't expect she wouldn't, but there was fines being handed out, which is nice. So things are being done outside of just us helping. So the town is being proactive. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this walk around, cleaning up. If anybody wants to participate, it's obviously not located just strictly to the Sunbury people. It would be great. Again, I mentioned my email last time. I can mention it again. Councilwoman Stinney has paperwork. I forgot mine. It's basically a requirement where you have to sign off saying it's a liability waiver. And it's really, I don't see any fact of being a big liability, but just a policy. So, again, I can email it to anybody who needs it or anything like that. The whole point is also, we help one community and it all spills out. It's just a big trickle effect. We all know Sunbury's still not a great place in terms of overall thinking, but it is getting better. I've had houses there for 2 years now. I see some improvement. And I think that's about it.
Well, we need, I believe, Mike, you had mentioned to me we need about 4 or more volunteers. So, council, if you know someone within your group or your church.
Yeah, if anybody, it's
can
Friday
get
though, that's the only issue, and that's
we
the
got to
problem.
have a deadline by Friday, right? Or you have
I need that by Friday, by
Right.
Friday, so I can send it up.
Friday.
The actual walk is the 24th.
Anyone
Okay,
out
be
there
back
would
with-
like to have a copy of this?
Again, if you want to fill it out and you can't make it, that's fine. It's, it's not an issue, but at least we have it on file or whatever, so. That's it. Leave it on that.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
And I'll get, with speed humps, I'll get back in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Council President, can I give this to Amy, get her to make some copies
Mr.
of
Tam,
this?
and then Ms. Maldonado.
Give her to make, would you make some copies of that for me before I leave, and then I can see if I can pass them out for you, Mike.
I've witnessed government in Pemberton Township. I've attended meetings starting in 1960, in August 1960. So it's been 55 years. And most of that time was the committee form of government, 5-man committee form, and they pick a mayor among themselves, and that mayor had no more power than the other 5-person committee. Now, to witness this form of government, the mayor-council form, which you presently have, you might call council dictator form instead, and it doesn't represent the people, and it hasn't worked at all. I have witnessed it now for over 20 years, 25 years, pretty near since it was put in. And I've mentioned this in this is the 3rd meeting I've been here in a row, and I've mentioned this, that you could revert back, abandon this form and revert back to the committee form. And it's a very simple process of doing it. With a petition, getting on the ballot, referendum, people vote for it, and you revert back to it. I had the statutes the last meeting, and Andy on it. But if witnessing what I see tonight and what's going around the county, and even out of county, I get around the state quite a bit, and I hear people and I hear politicians from different parts of the state. And it's a shame. There's good people in Pemberton Township. But because of the actions of the way it's being run by administration, it's not too good when you hear from these people making comments about Pemberton Township. It affects everything. It affects business. They talk about redevelopment. In order to have redevelopment, you have to have businesses that want to come here.